Hey guys, it's Elizabeth, Finding Elizabeth, and this is the fourth video in my series on dating post-weight loss surgery. Let's see, for those of you who don't know me, I am 50 years old. I had vertical sleeve gastrectomy weight loss surgery 2.5 years ago. I have lost 200 pounds, and I started dating about a year ago, and I'm just kind of sharing my thoughts on what I've learned in the first year of doing that, so that hopefully it can be of benefit to other people. So I've linked to the other videos down below. The first video is just kind of my relationship dating history, so you have an idea of who I am from that perspective. The second video was about how you're going to change during this process of getting to know yourself in a dating world post significant weight loss. The third video was just a quick little explanation of the dating apps that I've used. And today my video is on one of those lessons that I learned. I had 6 key lessons that I came up with over my first year. And so probably like most of these videos are going to be learn from my experience, so you do not have to go through what I went through. Do what I say and not as I did. So anyway, the lesson for today's video is don't rush this process. Don't jump into something. So don't jump into something very quickly. As I mentioned in my first video, I started dating towards the end of September of last year, and then I went on sort of a whirlwind tour of trips for both business and personal things. I got home to LA on Halloween night and started talking with the person that I dated the majority of that time on November 1st. So that was like 12 whole hours. I think I looked at, I don't know. I mean, one of the first things that I learned as I started dating this time around was, I'm 50 years old. I have friends who are that age, and all I've heard forever and ever was there are no men out there. There are no good single men out there. They're either all married or there's something wrong with them, which is why they're not married or whatever. So let me just say this. I have not found that to be my experience. There are tons of men out there. I could go out every night of the week if I wanted to. There are a lot of men out there, and in all honesty, most of them that I have met have been really decent guys. However, when I first started dating, I don't know that I truly owned or believed that. And when I met Bryon, I was dating 2 other people, but there was something about him, probably his psychopathology, that I viscerally responded to. But whatever. I mean, there was a really strong and deep connection and chemistry there, and within just a few weeks of knowing him, he said, "I love you." Maybe a week after that, we talked about just dating each other. I was so excited and happy about that. I thought the saying "I love you" was a little early and a little strange because men generally don't do that. But so instead of, even though I liked the other 2 guys I was dating as well, I didn't like them in the same way as I liked him. And so I thought, you know what, I should probably do this because this is somebody who I really, really am attracted to and like and whatever. So I basically jumped into an exclusive relationship after about 3 weeks of dating. Don't do that. Don't do that. Give yourself a little space to meet people, to get back in the game. I would recommend waiting a few months before you start dating any one person exclusively. I wish I would have done that. I think I probably would have had a clearer picture of who he was, I wouldn't have jumped in. So I wouldn't have jumped in with both feet in terms of my emotions and feelings. And I would have seen that the things that he was giving me weren't quite as rare as I thought they were. So anyway, that's my advice. Don't rush. Take a beat, as my son says. Really, as much as you can, try to be sure. And I think that's a difficult thing for us to do, because I know for me, even though I had been married and dated and were in relationships my whole life, this was very different. And I thought, wow, I'm not going to find this anywhere else. So I need to jump on this, and I'm so lucky and I'm so excited. So my advice, don't rush. The other thing is, I've talked a little bit about this book I've been working through called Calling in the One, that's really examining your beliefs and ideas about relationships, and gives work around the emotional, spiritual side of being ready to be in a relationship. And I think I said in another video I was going to put it in the description box, and I didn't, but I will do that today. One of the first things that I did as part of that book was to look at what do I want to see, what's my roadmap, what's the outcome I want to have, by the first of the year, so within 3 months, instead of this big uber goal of, I want to fall in love and live happily ever after. It's like, what do I want to have happen in 3 months? So I really thought about that, and the things that I came up with, and I wish I had them. Do I have them written down here somewhere really quickly that I could look at and actually read them to you? Hold on. No, I don't think that I do. But anyway, I have an idea of what they are. Number one is that by the end of this year, which I started this beginning of September, so it's a little over 3 months. By the end of this year, I want to have at least a few potentials for a long-term relationship, and I want one of those people to be someone who makes me feel the way that Bryon used to make me feel when I would see him, because that's what I want. I mean, that's the one thing I discovered, is I want that excitement and connection and chemistry. And one of the beliefs one of my old beliefs about relationships that I'm struggling with is this whole idea that you can't have that hot connection with somebody who's also nice and committed. I don't believe that's true. So please share your stories of how that isn't true to help bolster my beliefs, my changing belief that I can find that in one person. But so I want to have met a few people who are potentials for long-term relationships, with at least one of those who makes me feel the way that he did. I want to go on 2 dates a week. And I have done that pretty much since I stated that goal, except last week I went on 1 date, and this week I'm going on 1 date. And I think that's okay, because last week I was in New York. This week I have people coming in for OH tomorrow, and I'm going to be busy with that. So, and that doesn't necessarily mean 2 dates with different people. So far it's been 2 dates with different people, but in a week. But that doesn't have to be. But I just want to spend time with men twice a week. And the other thing is that we have a lovely family Christmas Eve celebration, and I want to take a quality person who is a potential for a long-term relationship with me to Christmas Eve this year. So those are my 3 goals that I set out. I would encourage you guys to kind of think about. And the other goal is, I'm not going to date anybody. I'm not going to get into an exclusive relationship with anybody until the first of the year. So those were kind of the goals I set. I would suggest that you guys maybe think about that if you're starting to date, about what you want that to look like 3 months from now. I know several people have reached out to me to say that they're thinking about starting this process. And if you're just dipping your toes in the water, those things might be, I want to, sign up for an online dating site. I want to write a profile, and I want to have communicated with 3 people or whatever. I mean, it doesn't have to be this huge audacious thing. It can be just real steps that are going to at least get you a little further down that goal, just like our getting back to basics and our weight loss surgery stuff does. So that's what I have today. Don't rush. You have time. There's time. All right. I love you guys, and I will talk to you later. Bye.